All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday. Thank you for tuning in today to CentralValleyTalk.com. I'm Mike Scott. Let's talk business. Let's talk finances right off the bat with Paul Willingham from Pillar Insurance Partners here in Fresno. They're up by Shaw and Millbrook. And Paul, you told me you describe yourself as a financial synergist.
Yeah, that's spelled with a Y, not an I.
Did I miss? No, I put the Y there.
You did. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we had the right sin in there.
So what's a financial synergist?
Well, it's really difficult to explain briefly, but I'll try to nutshell it for you.
Okay.
What I found in my 86,000 plus hours of being in the financial services industry in all areas of money, I've discovered that there is a connectivity between typically unrelated financial aspects of a person's life. And the reason that they're not connected is that the people that put them in place in that person's life, their insurance agent, their realtor, their banker, their tax planner, did so in sort of with blinders on. They didn't know because they weren't exposed. They were fish that swam in a set water. They may have done taxes for 25 years, but they didn't do anything else.
Right. Each one focused on one thing.
Yeah. Right. I'm highly nomadic. I move around, or I did. Initially by happenstance, ultimately on purpose, because I started discovering the connectivity, and I'd want to find out about another industry and find out how it connected with the information I already knew. And so I understand this connectivity, and by structuring this connectivity, what I can do is I can enhance the client's results. I can make the same dollar do more than one thing at a time. Debt elimination is a very good example of that. Most people think that in order to get rid of debt, they've got to really tighten up their belts and start making extra payments here and extra payments there. And that is certainly a way, and it's a good way.
But not the only way.
Not the only way. If you understand the power of synergy, you can link certain typically unrelated tools, and those will accelerate debt elimination in and of themselves.
Well, now you have me curious. What would you link to reduce debt?
Taxes is a good example.
Ah.
If the right structure, most people pay more taxes than they need to.
I know I do.
Well, there you go.
More than I think I should.
More than more than you'd want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by understanding the person's taxes, we can quite often free up cash flow that normally would be going to the government that now goes to reducing debt. And by structuring certain other techniques, I'll give you a good example. There's a mortgage available right now that links your checking account with your mortgage. Now, typically, the only relationship between those two is you write a check from this to pay your mortgage, right?
Or it's automatically deducted every month.
Right, it comes out of here, there, and that's it.
Right.
But what would happen if you put those two together so that as you made deposits into your mortgage, the balance, or into your checking account, the balance on your mortgage would drop. And then you wrote checks out of your checking account, the balance would come up, and you deposit, and it would come down. You'd have this up and down ratcheting movement of the mortgage balance, simply because of the money in and out of your checking account. On any given day, the balance on your mortgage would be lower, correct? Than it normally would be, if it was just over here unrelated to the checking account. By being lower, that means that the interest charged on it is lower. So when you make your regularly scheduled mortgage payment, more of it goes towards principal reduction. You're not paying any more. You're not making anything different there. You're just taking advantage of the money that normally you get no advantage from at all in your checking account to reduce the daily average balance of your mortgage.
So wait a minute. So why would your mortgage company want that to happen?
They don't.
They don't.
Right. There's really only one entity, one group that does that right now. And I refer my clients to them, and we put that together. And there's a very long story on that. In and of it's an interesting story to me.
And it's legal.
Perfectly legal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
An average family would say in and out cash flow into their checking account of maybe $4,000 a month, and say a $300,000 mortgage over here, could have that mortgage done and gone in about 7 years without making any higher payments than they would have on a 30-year mortgage.
Now, wait a minute. I think you need to repeat that. I can get rid of my mortgage in 7 years using that technique?
Exactly.
What's your number?
You want
wait. I do want it, but it doesn't sound possible.
I know.
And I'm trained to think that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10.
You're absolutely right.
So you're the 10th out of 10.
Yeah, I'm the unique one. And that's just one of multiple synergistic strategies that we've developed that we utilize to make our clients' lives better.
Well, that one thing alone would make their life better.
Yeah, and that's just one.
That's just one.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things you can help them with?
Well, of course, the taxes are entwined in every aspect of a person's life.
Sure.
And very few people really understand taxes. You've got an 82,000-page tax code. It's virtually impossible for people to understand it. I was really fortunate in that in my early life, I went to work for a company that published the tax code. My job was to teach that library. We sold the library to the accountants and attorneys that used it. And I was the guy that went out and taught them how to use it. I fell in love with the tax code. To this day, I think that a federal income tax is unconstitutional and immoral, but we've got it. And so I want to use it as much as I possibly can. I like a complex code because I understand it, and I can apply that in my clients' lives to increase their cash flow. And we tie that into wealth development through tax-advantaged wealth planning. And I'm talking about IRAs or 401ks. Those have a place. I'm not crazy about them because ultimately you do pay taxes on it.
Sure.
And quite frankly, I think you're going to pay more taxes on it because we all know the direction of taxes. Exactly. Right. I would rather pay taxes on the seed than the crop. That's what I do with my clients. So we combine creating cash flow through tax advantage strategies and use that cash flow to enhance our wealth development that is also tax advantaged. Mm-hmm. So our clients get double bangs, in fact, quite often triple bangs for the same dollar, because incorporated in that wealth advantage development, we incorporate things such as emergency planning and things for chronic and critical illness and things like that, that creates cash flow for them. There's just so many things that people just simply are not aware of about money. I'll give you a good story. Had a young lady come to me. She's an old client of mine. She's 46. I call her young. I'd take 46.
Relative, yes.
And she had just finished her MBA. She's a single mom, went back to school, got her MBA, and was ready to go out into the world and start, making some money. Found a lump. Third-stage lymphoma. She had no money, had nothing. All she had was a little girl that she was responsible for. And she came to me and was crying in my office. Of course she would be. I was crying too. But I asked her if she still had that life insurance policy that I made her get all those years ago. And she did. She kept it. Well, her doctor had given her 36 months to live. That's outside the accelerator clause on most life insurance policies. She had found a medical treatment that Medi-Cal would not pay for because it was unique. But she believed it would work. But she had no money. I found people that would buy that life insurance policy from her. I got her $430,000, and because of my awareness of the tax code, I got that $430,000 tax-free. That changed everything for her. She was able to get the alternative treatment. She is now cancer-free. She's writing a book about it, and she's dedicating a chapter to me. My last conversation with her, she said, Paul, you need to know, you saved my life. And I did. And that's why I do what I do, because I think I'm put here on this earth to make a difference. I'm put here to help people. God gave me certain talents, the recognition of synergy and a history that I had. If I utilize those talents correctly, I can change people's lives. I can change multiple generations. I can leave a legacy. And that's what it's about.
Helping people.
Yeah.
Helping people. All right. Pillar Insurance Partners. We've just touched on a little bit of what you do.
A tiny bit.
You'll have to come back and we'll discuss some more.
I think we
How
will.
can folks get a hold of you, pal?
352-9088.
Are you online also?
I am. PillarCentral.com I think.
Google Pillar Insurance Partners of Fresno,
Yeah,
and I'm sure
yeah.
it'll come up. Paul, thank you. That was fascinating.
Thank you. That was fun.
And I want to hear more about this, paying off my mortgage in 7 years.
Sounds good.
And we'll be back with more on Central Valley Talk.